In a bustling town pressed between forested hills and a wide, winding river, lived a boy named Liam. He was the kind of child whose curiosity ran faster than his feet. Every day he wandered through the marketplace, watched blacksmiths hammer, steel, and spent hours staring at the fishermen as they battled the currents. But one thing Liam never dared to do was cross the old wooden bridge that spanned the great river. It wasn't fear of heights or of falling. It was something deeper. He feared what lay beyond. What's on the other side? He once asked his uncle Elijah, an aging carpenter with a slow smile and deep eyes. Life, his uncle said, but not the kind you're used to. On that side, things don't come easy. Liam didn't understand. Why would anyone choose? Hardship over comfort? Everything he needed, his home, friends, the bakery that gave him warm bread, the school where lessons were predictable, was on this side of the river. What could possibly be worth more than safety? One summer afternoon, after helping his uncle carve wooden beams for a new house, Liam once again brought up the question. "Uncle," he said, brushing sawdust off his shirt, "why do you say, 'The other side of the river is harder'?" Elijah looked at him for a long time, then stood, wiping his hands. "Come," he said, "let's take a walk." They walked to the edge of the bridge. The river below rushed wildly, full of foam and swirling eddies. It was alive like a living creature. On the other side stood hills, farms, and paths that disappeared into the distance. "I want to show you something," Elijah said, "but you'll have to trust me." With some hesitation, Liam followed him across the creaking bridge. As they walked, the air changed. The sounds of town grew faint. The breeze was different, freer somehow, wilder. They reached a path that led into the woods, and after half an hour's walk, came upon a clearing where two wooden huts stood side by side. One was neat, sturdy, and warm. The other was weathered, leaning, its roof patched with different colors of straw. Elijah pointed to the well-built one. "I built that one," he said, "but only after living in the other for 2 years." "You lived in that?" Liam asked, eyes wide. "I did, and I thank that broken hut for every lesson it gave me." He sat on a log and motioned for Liam to do the same. "Let me tell you a story," he said, "one I've never told anyone." Elijah had once been just like Liam, safe, comfortable, never questioning the world around him, until the day his father passed away, and with him, the stability of their household vanished. The workshop shut down, the house sold, and young Elijah had to choose: stay in town and live small, or cross the river and start from nothing. He chose the river. "I built that first hut," Elijah said, pointing again, "with hands that had never lifted a hammer before. I was hungry most days. I made 100 mistakes. Nails bent, wood split, roofs leaked, and I cried more nights than I'll ever admit. But slowly, I learned. Not just how to build, but how to endure." Liam was silent. "Eventually, I built the second hut. Not because I had more wood or better tools, but because I had more wisdom. My hands had failed enough times to know how not to fail again." Liam looked from one hut to the other. "So the second hut stands because the first one fell?" "Exactly." They walked back toward the river, the setting sun gilding the water in orange and gold. "Liam," Elijah said softly, "in life you have two choices. You can stay on the safe side of the river where everything is familiar, where you'll be protected but also small. Or you can cross over and risk failing, risk pain, but also risk growing." Liam looked down at the current, his heart pounding. "But what if I try and fail?" Elijah smiled. "You will fail, many times, but every failure will carve you into someone stronger. The current you fear, it doesn't drown you, it shapes you." They stood in silence for a moment. "You want to be someone the world respects, Liam?" Elijah asked. Liam nodded. Then don't just build where it's easy. Build where it matters. Years later, Liam would remember this lesson when he stood at another bridge. This time not over water, but over fear. The bridge between his steady job and starting his own company. The bridge between keeping quiet and speaking truth. The bridge between hiding and being fully himself. And every time, the image of two huts would return to him. The broken one, and the one that stood strong. He understood that real growth was never born in comfort. That strength is forged in adversity. That the winds and rains we try to avoid are the very things that help us root deeper into the soil of our own lives. To be continued, parts 5 and 10 will follow to complete the full 7,000 words. Would you like me to continue with the next sections now? I can send them in structured parts, each 1,400, 1,500 words, until the story is complete. Let me know if you'd prefer a downloadable format, Word PDF at the end as well. Words spun in his mind like the river's current. Don't just build where it's easy, build where it matters. He kept thinking about the two huts, the broken and the beautiful. The more he thought about it, the more he saw them in everything around him. Friendships that were safe but shallow. Routines that were comfortable but dull. Choices that were easy but empty. At 16, Liam stood on the edge of something big. Not just the edge of youth, but the edge of possibility. He knew he had to cross his own bridge, but unlike the wooden one that spanned the river, this bridge was invisible. It was made of fear and doubt, of what-ifs and not-yets. He started to notice something strange at school. His friends often complained about things, how boring the lessons were, how strict the teachers, how unfair the tests. But no one tried to change anything. They all stayed on this side of the river, expecting life to improve while standing still. One day, during a group project, Liam had an idea to try something different. The class was meant to present a simple slideshow on historical figures, but Liam suggested creating a short video documentary instead. It meant more work, more risk, and the possibility of failing in front of everyone. Why not just do what the teacher asked? One of his classmates said. Why make it hard for ourselves? Liam paused. Then he said, because maybe that's how we grow. Not everyone liked the idea. Some called him show-off. Others rolled their eyes. But Liam persisted. He stayed late at school editing clips, borrowing cameras, writing scripts. For the first time in his life, he felt like he was doing something that mattered. Not because it was graded, but because it was bold, different, his. The day of the presentation came. As the lights dimmed and the screen came to life, a hush fell over the room. By the end, even the skeptical classmates clapped. The teacher stood in silence, eyes wide. I've taught this lesson for 15 years, she said, and no group has ever brought the past to life like that. That night, Liam walked home with a strange feeling, not pride, but purpose. It wasn't about the praise. It was the realization that he had crossed a bridge within himself, but growth never comes in straight lines. A few weeks later, Liam decided to apply for an elite summer program in media arts, a program where most accepted students came from wealthy schools with perfect portfolios. He poured everything into his application. Hours of filming, days of editing, nights of doubt. When the rejection letter came, it was short and cold. Thank you for applying. Unfortunately, he didn't leave his room for 2 days. Elijah came to visit. He didn't say anything at first. He simply placed 2 planks of old weathered wood on the floor. What's this? Liam asked. The roof of my first hut, Elijah said. The one that fell. Liam stared at it. I kept a piece to remind me that failure isn't the end of the road. It's part of the build. Then he added, You tried to build something big, didn't you? Liam nodded. Then good. That means you're not on the safe side anymore. Years passed. Liam graduated with average grades but above average dreams. He moved to the city to study film production. Unlike his small town, the city was loud, unforgiving, and indifferent to dreams. Rent was high, jobs were scarce, competition was brutal. Some days, he wondered if he had made a mistake. He watched others post glamorous success stories on social media while he worked overnight at a diner and edited student projects for spare cash. But then he remembered the tree on the far side of the river, the one Elijah had shown him, the one that had survived storms. Its strength had come not from shelter, but from exposure. He wrote a line in his journal that night. "I am growing. Roots, even when no one sees them." Mentoring on street musicians, Liam met a blind violinist named Matteo. Matteo played every evening outside the subway, rain or shine. His music had no audience, no applause, yet he played with a passion, so pure it hurt. One evening, while filming a short documentary on street musicians, Liam met a blind violinist named Matteo. Matteo played every evening outside the subway, rain or shine. His music had no audience, no applause, yet he played with a passion so pure it hurt. Liam asked to interview him. "Why do you play every day, even when no one stops to listen?" Liam asked. Matteo smiled. "Because music shaped me when nothing else could. And now I play to shape the world, one note at a time." That interview changed Liam's life. He edited the footage, uploaded it anonymously under the title, "The Violinist in the Dark." The video went viral. Offers came in. But Liam remembered Elijah's words. "Don't just build where it's easy. Build where it matters." So he made a decision. His channel would tell stories that often went unheard, stories of resilience, kindness, silent courage. He filmed single mothers starting businesses, elderly men who taught chess to kids in the park, a janitor who wrote poetry in the broom closet. Each story was a bridge for someone, a reminder that success isn't always wealth, fame, or power. Sometimes it's surviving. Sometimes it's showing up. Sometimes it's refusing to let the river swallow you. Years later, Liam returned to his hometown. The bridge still stood. The current still roared. Elijah was older now, his hands slower, but his eyes just as sharp. "I've seen your videos," Elijah said, smiling. "You've crossed many rivers." "I have," Liam replied, and each one looked like the first. They walked to the two huts again. The broken one was now overgrown, but still standing, barely. The second, solid as ever, had become a guest house for hikers. Liam placed a hand on the old hut. "Sometimes, I wonder," he said, "what would have happened if you had only built the second one?" Elijah chuckled. "Then I wouldn't have built you." The moral: building ourselves through the storm. In life, each of us must face a river, a challenge that scares us, a leap that feels uncertain. We're given the choice: stay on the safe side, where comfort lives but growth dies, or cross, over, face storms, and become something greater. In the modern world, our rivers are not always physical. They're decisions to start a business, leave a toxic job, speak up, love again, forgive, or dream after failure. Like Liam, we all build huts. Some fall apart, some stand tall. But every broken plank teaches us how to shape stronger beams next time. So next time you face your own rushing current, don't turn away. Cross and build. Years passed. Liam's name slowly became known, not for spectacle, but for sincerity. His videos were quiet, yet powerful. They didn't chase trends, they uncovered truth. The world, in its noisy hunger for entertainment, found peace in his stories. One of those stories, about a war veteran who taught music to orphaned children, was even shown in classrooms around the world. But something strange began to happen. The more successful Liam became, the less he felt the need to be seen. He began to understand what Elijah meant when he said, "Don't build to be admired. build to be useful. One evening, Liam returned to the river, his river. He was no longer the boy afraid to cross. He was now the man who had crossed, fallen, and risen again. As he stood by the old wooden bridge, he saw a boy sitting on the rocks, staring at the current. His shoulders slumped. His hands clutched a crumpled letter. Liam sat beside him without a word. After a long silence, the boy finally said, "I didn't get in." Liam looked at him gently. "The scholarship," the boy added. "Everyone said I would, but I didn't." He looked up with red-rimmed eyes. "It's all I worked for. What do I do now?" Liam didn't respond immediately. Instead, he asked, "You see that bridge?" The boy nodded. "I once stood right here wondering if I should cross, wondering if there was anything on the other side worth the fear." "And was there?" the boy asked. "There was something better," Liam said. "There was me, the person I never would have met if I had stayed afraid." They walked across the bridge together. Liam showed the boy the huts. By now, the forest had grown taller, the path more defined. The old hut, still leaning but holding on, had become a place of storytelling. Visitors pinned handwritten notes to its walls, notes about failures, heartbreaks, lost dreams. And beneath each note, someone else had written an encouraging reply. Elijah, now in his twilight years, had turned the hut into a living metaphor, a place where pain was not erased, but honored. When the boy read the notes, his eyes widened. "All these people, they failed too?" Liam nodded. "And they didn't stop there. That's what matters." They sat down beneath the tree nearby. Yes, the same tree that had once stood as a symbol of strength. Now it was something more. It was legacy. As the boy left that day, he turned back and asked, "Will I ever get over this feeling of being lost?" Liam smiled. "You don't get over it, you grow through it." That night, Liam added a new note to the wall of the old hut. It read, "Not all strong people were born brave. Some were just too stubborn to give up. If you're reading this, it means you're still building, and that's enough." He signed it, L.R., the boy who crossed the bridge. The older Liam grew, the more he realized something profound. The real bridge was never over water. It was the crossing between fear and courage, between staying small and daring to be whole, between letting life happen and choosing to shape it. Some people never cross. They stay on the safe side their whole lives. They talk about dreams, but never chase them. They hold on to plans, but never begin. They build walls instead of bridges. But others, those willing to risk heartbreak, humiliation, hard work, they step into the current. They let life bruise them, teach them, stretch them. And in doing so, they become something rare. They become deeply alive. In time, Liam began mentoring young filmmakers. But he didn't just teach them how to use a camera. He taught them how to listen, how to fail gracefully, how to tell stories that healed, not just impressed, how to find meaning, even when applause was absent. One of his students once asked, "What's the one thing you wish someone had told you when you started?" Liam paused, then said, "That it's okay to feel lost, but it's not okay to stay there. The map you're looking for isn't in someone else's hands. It's in the bridge you build with your own." One winter, Liam received a letter with familiar handwriting. It was from Elijah. The letter was simple. "Dear Liam, the time has come for me to cross my own final river. But before I go, I want to thank you. You didn't just build your own life. You built bridges for others. That's the greatest success of all. Remember what I once told you. Build where it matters." With love, Elijah Liam stood on the bridge that day, the letter in his hand, and cried, not out of sorrow but gratitude. Because he knew Elijah didn't build a hut. He built a man. Years later, a girl named Maya walked across the same bridge. She was scared, unsure, carrying the weight of rejection from her dream job. She found an old note on the hut's wall. She read the line, "You don't get over it, you grow through it." She didn't know who wrote it, but something about those words made her feel less alone. That day, she didn't go home. She stayed. She helped a stranger with their backpack. She wrote her own story. She decided to try again. And just like that, another builder was born. The moral, what we cross. We teach life, doesn't hand us bridges. It gives us rivers and asks us, will you stay where it's safe, or will you cross, fall, rise, and grow? The world today is full of noise, social, media pressure, fear of missing out, the need to be perfect. But none of that builds character. What builds character is struggle. What builds legacy is helping others through theirs. Your failures are not shameful. They are blueprints. Your scars are not ugly. They are maps. Your courage does not have to be loud. It just has to be real. So build your bridges, cross them, and when you can, turn around and offer a hand. Because in the end, it's not about being the strongest. It's about helping others to be brave enough to start.